Hello, welcome to day 16 of Console AI Chat Client in Rust Programming Language and Ratatui. Today, let's try to fix the issue where if we press the up arrow button, then the highlight for the LLM or the large language model listing should go up and cycle through the list if it reaches the first item, meaning it should highlight the last item on the list and move upwards. So cycle through. And last time I have noticed that in Rust, it will automatically stop the application if there's an underflow or overflow. So I think this is one of the security features in Rust to ensure that this won't be a security vulnerability in the future. So today, let's look more closely to that and see how we can fix it. So join me once again live in one take, no shortcuts and no secrets. So let's just start programming. Right, so welcome back. So when I open my laptop, it starts to install some updates. So just put this aside, and this is where we are last time. Let's do a cargo run and see once again. Okay, Control C, configure, down, down, down. So this one will cycle through. If we press up, up, then you can see here below it's 0, but the highlight is missing. So this is index 2, as indicated here. If I press up, up, so it's gone. Okay, so we will fix that today. Okay, so let's take a look at the flow once again. It's always good to review the flow. So we have the main is here, app, new, run. So inside this run, we have the loop while self-running. And then the UI is being drawn, and then handle key events is here. Handle key events on key event. Then we have tab, enter, up and down. So highlight down seems to work. Let's go to that one and see. I was thinking if we can apply exactly the same pattern. So in this case, the checkboxes highlight length -1. So that is the max. Why is it the max? So here it's a vector. We have 3. Three minus 1, so 2. Returns the number of elements in the vector. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3. So this one, the length is 3. But max here is actually we're getting the last index. Maximum should be just 2 because indexes starts in 0, so 0, 1, 2. So this should be 2. And then here checkbox index plus 1. This checkbox index. So if we move down, checkbox index starts with 0. Okay, so if we move down, so 0 plus 1, so that is the next index. And we do some checks. If checkbox index is greater than x, meaning if we have reached, just run this. Okay, so that is 1. Checkbox index is 1. So this is false. Checkbox highlight will highlight index 1, so that is 0, 1, so gemma. True. Okay, so checkbox index is greater than 0, which is true. Checkbox highlight checkbox index, which is 1, is 1. Minus 1 equals false, meaning the previous one, we are removing the highlight from gamma. Okay. Then the next if statement, checkbox index is 1 less than max, so that is true. Checkbox index 1 plus 1, so that is index 2, which means Mistral. We're setting it to false. Anyway, it's already false, but we're setting it to false. And that is to remove the highlight here. Mistral. And then, yeah, we're showing the index. Down 1. So moving down. Down 2. And then if I press down, so it's already 2. 2 plus 1, this is 3. So 3 is greater than max. This becomes true. So the highlight would be three minus 1 false. So this is 3 minus 1. That's false. And we are setting checkbox index to 0. So it will be set here. And highlight. So now checkbox index is 0. So this is 0. So the highlight is here. True. Highlight this one. Yeah. Checkbox index 0 is greater than 0, which is false. Checkbox index 0 less than max. This is true. Then checkbox index 0 plus 1 false. Meaning gemma is set to false. Okay, so the mechanism that we have here is that the previous one highlight is removed and the next one highlight is removed also. So this part works, it can cycle through. Alright, so in this case, checkbox index is 0. So if checkbox index is 0, and if I press highlight up, max is still 2. Checkbox index is equal to 0. Okay. Checkbox index is equals to max. So meaning, if we cycle through, then it should start Mistra. Under Mistra. Okay, then highlight checkbox index 0 is set to true. No, checkbox index is now max. So this one is 2, so it's supposed to display highlight Mistral. And checkbox highlight 2 minus max, 2 minus 2, so that is the previous one, which is llama, set to false. So ideally, this part here should already work. Highlight is here, highlight is here. Checkbox index is still 2, so this is true. So actually we can skip this part, we can remove it. If checkbox index is greater than 0, greater than 0, right, here. Oh, I think I copied it here. Checkbox index is 2, which is true. Okay. So let me comment out this one. Let's do it step by step. Save this. Once again. Down, down, down. Okay, let me press up. Okay, so this part is correct. If I press up once again, nothing happened. So we need to handle that behavior. So it means we need the opposite, which is this one. Copy this one first. So checkbox index is now at 0, but 2. So instead of less than max, it should be greater than, let's put it as equal to max. So we will previous one. Remove the previous one and then which going to be subtract. Put it here. Minus 1. So 2 minus 1, so this becomes checkbox index 1. Okay, let me put it inside here. To ensure that, yeah, we can subtract. Because this is 2. 2 minus 1 becomes 1. Alright, then we can move the highlight here. Let's remove this one also. Okay, so if checkbox index is at Mistral, which is 2, we will highlight, okay, we will remove the highlight here because now we're moving up, which is to Gemma. We're subtracting the checkbox index. So, okay, so because over here we know that we would be able to subtract something. So checkbox index is now 1. We highlight Gemma. Okay, so let's save this first. Down, down, up. Okay. So from here, we move up, okay, you can move up. So if checkbox index is 1, so if checkbox index is put another if statement here, if checkbox index put greater than 0 and checkbox index less than max. So if it's in between, then we can subtract. Subtract the current one, you can remove. You can remove the highlight. Alright, so I think this one looks okay. Let's save it and see, down, 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 up. Oops, something's wrong. If I press up, checkbox index is 2. Does it jump to first one? Okay, because over here it's already 2 minus 1 is 1, so then it will jump here. Okay, so we need to change this a little bit. Else if one, see, down, 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 up, up. Okay, so we need to fix this part. If checkbox index is 0 and if we press up, then it should go to Mistra, which is index 2. Okay. So if checkbox index is 0, oops, what happened there? 0. Checkbox index is 0. Okay. And then it should be max. So it should be Mistra. Because of this one. Okay, so we can do, let's put else if here. It will only execute it if checkbox index is max. Right. Let's see. Down, 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 up, 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 up. Oh, all right. So it worked. So I don't know how it worked, but it worked. Seems like going down is a different pattern. Going up is so different. So let's take a look at how we can make them similar. So highlighting up, let's say if we have four entries. So of course you'll still have index 0 and then you'll have index max. Anything in between. So I think this one will still work. Let's inspect highlight down. If we have four entries, how are we checking it? Okay, anything greater than 0, less than max, greater than max. So I wanted to change this. Let's see. Okay, that's the challenge. We do here, if sub checkbox index is equal to 0, let's see if we can make use of this pattern. Put it here. Just reverse. If checkbox index equals to 0, we're not going to jump down to max, but we're going to increment. checkbox index, highlight true, index minus max. Index minus max. So since we already added one here at the top, we can subtract the one. Put a space. We can subtract one. Else if checkbox index is equal to max, so in this case we need to checkbox index equals to 0. Then okay, so we have already set the index to 0. Then we remove the highlight from checkbox index. This can be max. Okay. And anything in between checkbox index is greater than 0 and max, so you can increment. Then why is it false? Okay, so if it is 0, checkbox index greater. We remove the highlight from the previous one. Okay, removing the highlight from the previous one. Checkbox index set to true. Okay, put it here. Almost similar but a little bit different. Okay, so if checkbox index is 0, we can increment the checkbox index. And then highlight it. At the previous one, we can remove the highlight. So if checkbox index is 1, so it's not equal to 0, it's not equal to max, it's somewhere in between. Checkbox index is 1. So we need to remove the highlight from the previous one. Is it correct? 0, then now checkbox index is 1. So 1 is greater than 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. There's something wrong here. If checkbox index is now 1, so this one is false, this one is false. So this is 0 from 0 to 1. Checkbox index is now 1. The previous one we remove the highlight, then it will jump to 2 because we are incrementing it. Then it will highlight 2 instead. Correct. Let's try it out. Let me try it out. Let's see. Control C. Down. Oops. Oops. It's almost working. Almost. Okay, so if checkbox index is 2, we press down. Checkbox index is max, which is 2. Then it goes to 0. Highlight. Max is set to false. So this one and this one is actually redundant. But then if we press down again, so checkbox index is 1, it falls under this. if else. So the previous one is set to false. Checkbox index is set to 2, then highlight. So if checkbox index is set to max, equal to max. So max, we remove the highlight, and then we set it to 0. So 0 will be highlighted. So it is 0. Okay, then from 0 to 1, 0 to 1, we have 0 to 1. Greater than 0, less than max, so it is 1. 1 minus 1 is set to false. Hmm. Why do we have zero, 1, 2? Okay. So okay, so we should be less than equal. Equal to max. No, should be less than max because max is already handled here. If checkbox index is 1, okay, so 1 is less than max, 1 is greater than 0. So the previous one is set to false. We increment it. And 1 is set to true. is false. Let's try it again. Down, down. From 1 to 2. Okay, from 1 to 2. 1 to 2. So checkbox index is equal to max. Checkbox index is equal to max. So meaning it's 1. Checkbox index equals to 0. Highlight the current one. And max to false. Will it work? Down, down, still the same. This is 1 to 2. So 1, one to 2. Okay, 1 to 2. So it is now 2. 2 minus 1 false. Not this part. Should be here. 1, 2 minus 1 set to false. Then the current one set to true. Okay. Let's see. Try again. Let's see, down, down, down. All right, it's working. Now it's working. Okay, so it seems to work. Index 0 equals to max, and anything in between. So if checkbox index is, say, for example, 2, and then we have, say, max, we have 4 items. I think this one should still work with this pattern. Then checkbox index is here, true. Okay, so we are highlighting, then we are removing the previous one. Here we are removing the previous one, we are setting it to 0, and we are highlighting, and then we're removing the previous one. Then here, I think there's a difference here. In this case, we are incrementing the checkbox, and then the previous one we are setting it to false. Or we can follow the same pattern. Let's see. Follow the same pattern. Let's put it here. Set this to false. So, yep. All right, so it's working now. Post here in the chat. I think I'm having some errors here in the stream. Yes, the stream status is poor. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Sadly, I have to stop here. Let me try to see how I can fix this. And probably in the next video, we can implement how to properly select items here. For example, Gemma is highlighted, we press space, and that one will be selected so that we can use it inside the chat. And let me fix the issue with my bandwidth. All right, so yeah, so we finally fixed that one, the highlighting. Hope to see you guys in the next video. So bye for now. Let me thank my sponsors as well.